Have you noticed? Men are angry, women are disappointed, nobody seems happy with dating anymore. Everybody's talking about it, but nobody is getting to the root cause of this issue. In this video, I will explain the #1 scientific reason behind the dating struggles in the modern West. So let's start. Scientific research has shown that there are two types of men when it comes to attracting and keeping women. #1, in the scientific literature refers to it as conferring benefits. And #2, it's the opposite strategy, which is about inflicting costs. Call this taking value. There are two types of men go for the inflicting cost strategy. These are, you will never guess, dark triad men. And crucially, to explain the dynamics of dating disappointment, it's lower value men who go for inflicting costs. If you think about it, this is logical. High value men can give benefits, so most of them prefer giving benefits. Lower value men don't have value to give, so they resort to inflicting costs to keep a woman. These are not conscious calculations, by the way. Men and people in general run these calculations subconsciously. But when they realize that they don't have many benefits to keep a woman happy and attracted with them, they resort to inflicting costs. What are costs? Well, there are a million ways of inflicting costs, but the most common ones: manipulation, gaslighting, undermining her self-esteem, abuse, unfortunately, verbal abuse, and the two often overlap. It's mate guarding, excessive jealousy, accusing her of being disloyal, or it can also be breaking down when she wants to leave. This is called a pity play, etc., etc. What are inflicting benefits? It's the same. There are a million ways of giving value, but at the core, this is about who you are. This is about personality. If you're a cool guy, that's all that it's needed. High confidence, high self-esteem, positive social dominance, make her feel great when she's with you, great conversational skills, can be being good in bed as well, being good at cooking, whatever. But the more benefits one can give, the more he will tend to use this positive approach, which is win-win and makes for great relationships. The fewer good traits he has, the more likely it becomes that it will be a toxic relationship based on taking value, pushing, making her worse off. Why is this so crucial for modern dating? It's because historically women have been lower value than men as a class at a society level. Now, as you can imagine, in the last decades, and it accelerated in the last years, women are empowering themselves more and more. So at a social level, it means that fewer and fewer men can give benefits. So more and more men have to resort to value-taking approaches. More and more men become abusive. Unfortunately, this is a case where the pie is fixed at a group and social level, because if women increase their power vis-a-vis, face-to-face with men as a class, men have lower benefits to give as a class. And this is crucial, and this is why here at ThePowerMoves we encourage men and people in general to think of themselves as individuals first, because then the solution, the root cause solution, becomes obvious, and it's you become a more empowered, cooler guy, and then you have no problem with women empowering themselves. As a matter of fact, women empowering themselves is a boon, it's a boost for cool guys, because cool women, empowered women, have nowhere to go but with the very few top cool guys left. This is also why we probably see a rise in voluntary celibates. It's because these lower value men cannot attract empowered women. If we go back long enough, everything was different. Women could not vote, they will not go to higher education, they will make less money, but that has also then consequences at a psychological level that matters even more. Those women were less confident, had lower self-esteem, and looked up to men as a class in general. Back then, the average man, just being with a woman, he will be the breadwinner, he will give benefits because he was higher status in society. Today it's not like that anymore. The average man today is underwater, value underwater, because he makes less money than women, he's less educated. And that reflects mentally, he's less confident, lower self-esteem. And then women also become more demanding. Let's go back to the solution now. Number one, what's not a solution, and what unfortunately is so common in male self-development these days, which is to complain about these social dynamics trends. They will never say it explicitly, but what they subcommunicate when they complain about modern women, it's this. Women are too high power for me now. I cannot attract and retain a woman as things are. So I need to push them down so I can attract a woman and keep her. You don't want to subcommunicate this. This will be controversial, but I would even say that you want to avoid over displaying a conservative attitude, a socially conservative attitude. That overlaps with social dominance orientation, which sounds cool, but it's not. Social dominance orientation is all about keeping the class power structure as it is. For men, that means keep men higher up and keep women lower down. That subcommunicates that the man does not feel confident, empowered, strong, and cool enough to attract and maintain an empowered woman. It's a no-no in today's dating. You don't want to subcommunicate that. Even if you're conservative, even if you want a housewife, supported, feminine type of woman, it's not the right strategy to say it up front. The right strategy is the opposite, to show yourself as the cool guy who is cool with empowered women. What happens then is that even empowered women, more of them, will be okay to be supportive and to be feminine and to be to a cool guy. Again, it's logic. Why would a cool, empowered woman with her job and her money want to be feminine and with a loser? Nobody wants that. But a lot more are open to be so to a high value, high power, confident man. So what you want to say and subcommunicate instead is that you are cool with women empowering themselves. For example, you go on a date and the woman talks about her dreams, her goals. The threatened guy thinks, oh, she's not for me, I need a stay-at-home wife. The cool guy instead tells her, yes, you go for it, you can do it, you got this, you go girl. A little bit of a power move, you go girl. If you're closer, you can say, you go baby, you got that. This is the positive male chauvinism, which is attractive. The negative one is the fearful one, who is afraid of empowered women. Now this is the next level. The mindset of this type of guy, it's this. It doesn't matter how much you empower yourself, you will never be at my level. That's why he's so confident in saying, you go for it, you got this, because deep down he thinks, no matter what you achieve, I'll always be a step ahead. You don't want to say that, but that's what you want to think deep down. And if you do the work on yourself, it's the truth. Top men are a step ahead top women. That's how it is. Another move I used in dating sometimes is storytelling. Unfortunately, this dynamic has become so common that most women have experienced or know about a friend who was in a relationship with a guy who was overly jealous, mate guarding, or semi-abusive or semi-toxic, or completely abusive. So what I say is, these days, for a cool woman, it's better to be single or to be lesbian than to be with one of these guys. That is so good at many levels. One, it sub-communicates that you're open-minded and that you are not like one of those guys. You are one of the cool guys who is not afraid of empowered women. Number two, it also opens the thread of open-mindedness and open-mindedness about sexuality. So if you want to move fast and maybe have things happen that same night with a date, that's also very good for that. I tried it many times and it always worked perfectly. Now this is another important point between these two. There are 3 levels of men here. The lower level, the too nice guy, he is encouraging women, he's okay with feminists, but not because he's really okay and secure. It's because he's afraid of telling the truth. He's afraid of taking action on his own fear. So he says, oh yeah, I'm all for feminists, but not because he's a cool guy. It's because he's a pushover. It's because he's afraid of saying what he truly thinks. The second level is what we mentioned to not to do. It's what you see a lot in the male self-development. And it's the criticizing the empowered women, sub-communicating the man should be above, talking about men's power. They will never say this, but deep down what they are saying is men should be above, women should be below. And then there is the third level, which is what we are embracing here, is that you either are truly open-minded, you are more of a lover type, or 3, you are so cool and confident in yourself that you truly think it's a good thing that women empower themselves. And to me, this is the only healthy possible approach. Anything else to push women down, it's so toxic. How are you going to implement that solution without pushing down on millions of women? It's so toxic, and to me it's also so weak, so fucking weak. That's why I've also been very critical of some guru personalities in the male self-development sphere. Finally, if you want to commit, if you want a positive relationship where she's attracted and admires you, you want to ask these 4 crucial questions. We outlined them in this video here. Check it out. Cheers, guys.